Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game 2 in a series between CupCake and Millennium ToD here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. There are no supply depots down over here, so this is not the MLG version of the map, so this is not MLG. Anyways, CupCake spawning as the green Terran player, meanwhile ToD spawning as the blue Protoss. Protoss versus Terran here in the Xel'Naga Caverns, and we'll see what CupCake does this time around. CupCake did take an early victory, but he never really capitalized on it, and he didn't have a command center, and he didn't have his expansions built, and I think he was just afraid of a counterattack that was never gonna be coming in. He had dealt such a hard economic blow to his opponent, and then decided not to really expand and decided not to really I like the bunkers, I like the defense just in case ToD came back with a semi all in timing attack in order to take the victory, but that isn't what happened this time around. CupCake, as a green Terran player, we'll see what he tries to do here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. There is only one natural spawning or one natural base down over here, and then the third bases are a little bit further away. Rather difficult to take, as they are blocked by destructible rocks, so there are a lot of two base pushes on a map like Xel'Naga Caverns. Gateway now coming in, most likely ToD will warp in an assimilator followed by a pylon. ToD seems to be playing pretty standard as of late. Meanwhile, CupCake pretty much building standard as well. Barracks followed by refinery after the supply depot, and now this probe will be able to come up the ramp and take a look around. Where is that pylon, ToD? ToD now warping in his second pylon down over here, and now we'll be able to continue mining once more. He is chrono boosting off of his Nexus, so not quite sure why he's doing that. He's going to actually end up perhaps being supply blocked for just a little bit. Or wait, no, pylons only take 25 seconds to build, not 30 like supply depots. Anyways, probe coming back in, going to do a little bit more harassment as well back on the command center. But that's not really going to be able to do much, as now we see CupCake rallying a Marine over here and making sure that there are no proxy pylons at all. Cybernetics Core also coming into play. Based upon ToD's previous build, most likely he will be getting in a second assimilator, a second gateway, followed by a robotics facility, as ToD also setting up a proxy pylon over here to make sure to gain sight and see if there are any sort of drop plays that would be coming in. CupCake did not scout out this additional pylon down over here, so he may be on the lookout to figure out what exactly is happening with this one extra pylon. There could be perhaps a proxy Stargate down over here if he's not careful, but that doesn't seem to be the case, as we are now going into a Reaper expansion by CupCake. CupCake with that Reaper expansion, and now with the command center being built on the inside, there is another proxy pylon over here. It looks like it's just going to sit there for quite some time. I do not believe I see a probe nearby, so we are not going to get any proxy Stargate or any proxy robotics facility. Down here, we are getting that additional gateway and two additional gateways, no robotics facility at all, and ToD may be trying to go into a 3-gate expand. Reaper now on the lookout to see what it can find. Doesn't see any proxy pylons anywhere on the map, and now just going to continue to mosey along and move along its merry way, as ToD has now patrolled one probe outside the base of CupCake. Now, CupCake going into double racks once more, or building 2 more racks once more. It's going to be a 3 racks play. He already has concussive shell, but he has not started stim or combat shield, surprisingly enough. He also has only 1 Vespene Geyser up, and now getting even more barracks, so this may be a mass barracks build, just a lot of barracks units, and then trying to storm in and run in with mass marauders and marines. Apparently there are a lot of lag spikes going on in this game, so both players now trying to just figure out what's going to happen here, as we are now upgrading into warp gates here and here as well, and finally going into that robotics facility. We are going into double reactors, and with the double reactors, I really think that CupCake should have started the stim research much earlier. If he was able to start it much earlier, those Marines would have been able to have stim much earlier as well, as reactors do take a fair amount of time to build, and we can also see another tech lab being added on over here. ToD continuing to just mine away now, setting up his natural base. It looks like an orbital command will be lifted off and landed down over here in just a moment. There is a probe that I believe CupCake should be able to spot, and CupCake's just going to run down the ramp, finish off this probe, as CupCake's not going to stop at nothing to set up this expansion. There is that fourth gateway now, so 4 warp gates plus 1 robotics facility. Observers are being trained. A backdoor pylon here, making sure that nothing will be coming through that backdoor, as SCVs are now being transferred to the natural expansion. CupCake with a slight economic advantage, but that's only because of army, not because of his income. 29 SCVs versus 34. This is looking cautious right now, as ToD may not have enough to really fight back this early army. This early army does have a couple SCVs coming along with it, so those SCVs are going to try to absorb some of that damage, and that is going to be huge. Every damage that an SCV takes is a point of damage that Marauders and Marines are not taking. Combat or Stim Pack has been completed. SCVs now pushing in, and this one Nexus may get taken down. It looks as though it is going to take a lot of damage. Stalkers are now trying to make their way over, and it looks like, is it going to get taken down in time? SCVs are now trying to push in. There's a couple of force fields now. Stalkers, sentries, both sides continuing this fight over here. Marines trying to fight back. A lot of Guardian Shield as more force fields still coming in. And I believe the Nexus should just get focused down. Not quite sure why it is not getting focused down. And now ToD is in trouble with the sheer number of mass Marines that CupCake was able to macro up in this early engagement. Now, ToD has a small window of opportunity. He needs to reestablish his base. He's not behind on probes, but the only real issue right now is that he has diminishing returns on those probes, where those probes are not really mining that effectively. 33 SCVs and 2 mules versus 36 probes. And I believe CupCake is now going to be taking the economic advantage once more, as bunkers are being placed down in order to fight back the technological advanced unit of the Protoss, as we are now getting into the extended thermal lance range by ToD. Now, ToD once more supply blocked at 58 over 58, trying to train up a Colossus. Not going to be able to do so. He is going to get 2 additional pylons, so perhaps he will be able to at least warp in some additional units as well. As you can now see, a Marauder attempting to run away from Zealots, Sentries, and Stalker. That Marauder juicing up every so often in order to run faster, and now able to make it all the way back home. We are going into double starports. We'll see if any reactors will be placed down. There is still an observer coming in from ToD, so ToD knows what exactly is going on inside the space, as we are now going into double reactors on double starports. So a lot of medevacs, a lot of Vikings can be trained in just a moment's notice, and that may be a bit of an issue for those Colossi, as 8 to 12 Vikings are able to shoot down one Colossus ever so easily. Starports are now completed. We'll see if, going into 4 medevacs first, perhaps going to get some Vikings after that, as we now see a decent number of Marines and Marauders out front. Still a larger army now by ToD, as ToD is slightly behind in terms of his economy, sitting at 48 compared to 44, and now salvaging these front bunkers. It looks like he may be on the move once again. We are getting 4 medevacs. Medevacs do take a bit of time to train up. 42 game seconds, about 30 seconds in real life, and now adding a squadron of Vikings, so those Vikings perhaps going to be able to deal some damage to this one Colossus, and we'll see how that works out. It looks like the Vikings are about halfway done. This is looking semi-good, semi-bad, but the Zealots and Colossi and Sentries deciding not to engage, even though there was an observer to keep track of the army. There's not that many Marauders here, and I believe the Colossi, well, there's only 1 Colossus, so with only 1 Colossus, perhaps he thought that he didn't have enough splash damage in order to deal with those Marines. More gateways now warping in as well. You can see CupCake sitting on 132 over 134. ToD sitting at 100 over 100. And once again, I wish that CupCake would take this opportunity to build another command center in order to take an economic lead into the mid game. Or CupCake could try to just simply walk into this base, opponent's base. His army is considerably more sizable than his opponent's. The Vikings are now backing off. Marines and Marauders. Oh, there goes an observer. Vikings going to go after that Colossus. And now feedback onto the medevacs. Massive feedback. Only 2 medevacs have energy left. The Vikings have gone down, but the Marauders still maybe too much. It looks like sentry after sentry is being destroyed. And ToD says GG. So ToD losing game 2 in this best of 3 series. Stay tuned for game 3.